Join us as we take a tour of the Yarra Valley, exploring its gold rush history, picturesque vineyards, and engaging in some silly fun. Hi everyone, and welcome to Dan's Destinations. Today we take a tour of the Yarra Valley, Melbourne's wine-soaked backyard, a place where the city folk come to pretend they're rural aristocracy for the day before retreating back to their apartments. But strip away the glossy brochures and you find a region that's more than just Chardonnay and grazing platters. It's a mashup of history, geology, and indulgence, with a slightly smug aftertaste. The Yarra Valley is located 1 hour's drive northeast of Melbourne. In this guide, I'll cover some of the famous sites including its gold rush history, popular picnic areas, and some of my favourite vineyards. The best way to visit the Yarra Valley is to rent a car and drive, or take a day tour from Melbourne. The advantage of driving is that you'll be able to visit vineyards that you truly like, and it's easier to transport your shoppings if you buy a lot of wine. The disadvantage is that the designated driver is unable to partake in the wine tastings. All the locations in my guide are also available as a Google Maps link in the video description. Also, YouTube says less than 5% of you are subscribed, so help a mate out and smash that like and subscribe button. If you don't wish to drive yourself, Viator has some great day tours available, and if you use our link below, it helps us out and doesn't cost you extra. Our first stop is in Warrandyte, Melbourne's first official gold field. The place where in 1851, men with beards and questionable judgment hacked into the earth looking for riches. Most didn't find much, but they left behind scars in the land that today we politely call heritage sites. The Palm Band Tunnel, also known as the Evelyn Tunnel, is a feat of human stubbornness, where miners literally try to reroute a river just to dig up the gold underneath. It didn't exactly work out, but hey, it makes for a hell of a story. In the end, the mining company only broke even due to cost overruns in digging the tunnel. Today is a striking tourist stop on your journey to the Yarra Valley. The tunnel can be viewed from two sides, one near the main park, which is more scenic and an ideal picnic area. The second place is opposite the river, which is more secluded and is a popular local swimming hole. Do take care as people have drowned inside the tunnel after being sucked in when the river is high after a major storm. There's also a hidden staircase from the road down to this tunnel, although it doesn't afford a good view of it. In Warrandyte, you're more likely to strike gold in the form of a good coffee and a decent sourdough. The Riverview Cafe is a good local establishment serving up delicious cafe specialties like bacon and egg rolls or egg benedict. The river walk is gorgeous and the perfect way to work off that delicious breakfast. The river is flanked by eucalyptus trees hanging lazily over the water and crowned by various local birds acting like they own the place. The bakery beside the river sells special bird feed that you can feed to the local ducks. Next, we take a stroll through Warrandyte's goldfield and discover Victory Mine, 𝗟𝗓𝗡𝗏 Mine, and Johnson's Mine, where men once crawled into the earth with a candle and a prayer, hoping to strike it rich. Our first stop is the Victory Mine. The name sounds triumphant, but let's be real. For most of the men who toiled here, Victory was just making it through a shift without a cave-in. Opened in the late 1800s, this is one of Warrandyte's most ambitious digs, sinking multiple shafts into the hillside. Some gold came out, enough to keep the dream alive, but not enough to turn Warrandyte into Ballarat. Now the mine is fenced, eerie and atmospheric. The entrance to the mine is sealed by a massive ironclad wooden door, and you won't be able to enter the mine, but it's still a nice photo opportunity. Morning! Out gold hunting. About 15 minutes walk uphill, which is a good way to work off that egg and bacon sandwich, we come to 𝗟𝗡𝗡𝗧𝗦 mine. Dug out in the late 1800s, this was the definition of small-scale optimism. Yeah, we are at 𝗟𝗡𝗡𝗧𝗦 mine. It's the only mine you can enter, to a certain point. The rest of the mine is sealed off for safety, although it is open occasionally for exploration by the local historical society. Picture a dark, damp tunnel barely wide enough to fit you, and all for the faint hope of hitting a gold vein. Walking into 𝗟𝗡𝗡𝗧𝗏 now, you don't think treasure, you think, my god, who was desperate enough to crawl in here? It's part history lesson, part claustrophobia simulator. Great for kids, history nerds, and people who enjoy confronting their mortality in a dark hole. I previously filmed a short skit here for fun with my buddy Mark, Marcel, and Glenn. I'll put the link to the full video in the video description below. Walking off on a branch, we come to one of the air shafts that service 𝗟𝗡𝗡𝗧𝗏 mine, now fenced off. A little further on, you've got Johnson's mine. Same concept, men, darkness, and dirt.
Was this mine ever sealed up?
Yeah, it's very muddy and wet there, you know. This was no one-man operation. It ran commercially for decades, with timber props, tramways, and shafts that went deep enough to make you wonder how nobody thought, maybe this is a bad idea. Of course, most miners walked out with little more than sore backs and lungs filled with dust. Today, Johnson stands as a reminder that gold fever wasn't glamorous. It was back-breaking work in mud and shadow. So that's Warrandyte's holy trinity of holes in the ground: Victory, 𝗟𝗡𝗡𝗧𝗏, and Johnson's. They are not exactly Vegas casinos, but they are a real slice of Australia's gold rush, equal parts grit, optimism, and futility. Then, on to Sugarloaf Dam, the unsung hero of Melbourne's water supply. Built in the early 1980s, Sugarloaf was part of a plan to secure the city's future water supply. Back then, Melbourne was growing fast, and someone finally realized that hope it rains isn't a reliable water management strategy. So they dammed up the Yarra tributaries, built a 1.5-kilometer embankment wall, and created a man-made lake capable of holding over 96 billion litres. No frills, no tourist gift shops, just a giant concrete wall holding back a staggering amount of water. It's peaceful, serene, and a reminder that as much as humans love wine, they also need to drink plain old water once in a while. The drive over the dam is very scenic and is a popular meeting spot for the local sports car club, as well as locals looking for a picnic spot. The irony, of course, is that you can't swim in it, can't even dip a toe in it. Fishing is allowed under strict conditions. Sugarloaf is strictly business. It's a look but don't touch operations, the Mona Lisa of reservoirs. Along the way to Healesville, you find a simple and little roadside stall called Tasman Produce, the kind of place that sells fruit so fresh you'll question whether Woolworths has been conning you your entire life. They are famous for their Tasmanian salami and local honey.
That's our most popular, Tasmanian wild duck.
Okay.
If the Yarra Valley is a cathedral to wine, Coldstream Brewery is the dive bar squatting on the edge of the parish, flipping the bird at Chardonnay and Pinot Noir. And thank God for that. Sometimes you just want a pint, not a sermon about Pinot Noir. It's rustic, straightforward and honest, including its full frontal bronze statue on the roof. And yes, it's anatomically correct, standing proudly above the brewery like some pagan fertility god of beer. The brewery opened in 2007, founded by a few locals who thought the valley needed something a little less precious: beer, cider, and pub grub. This is Australia's national dish, no matter what anyone tells you. A big golden slab of chicken drowned in Napoli sauce, ham, and cheese, served with chips. At Coldstream, the parma arrives unapologetically oversized, like it's daring you to finish it and top with a fried egg. It's good pub grub at its finest. Salty, cheesy, greasy in all the right ways. The truffle fries were a great side dish to share. They are ordinary fries seasoned with truffle oil, as they naturally would since it's the Yarra Valley, and dusted with Parmesan cheese and garlic aioli sauce. They are crisp, fragrant, and addictive. We also had the fish and chips. Crispy battered fish, chips, with salad on the side to pretend it's healthy. It's reliable, comforting, and exactly what you want after a few pints. Coldstream ciders are their calling card. Fresh, crisp, and refreshing. The kind of drink that cuts through a summer scorcher like a knife. You could sing 3 of these before realizing it. Their espresso martini is the perfect pick-me-up / put you back down. Strong, smooth, and surprisingly well balanced. Coldstream Brewery is an antidote to wine fatigue. It's loud, unpretentious, and welcoming. You eat, you drink, you laugh at the naked bloke on the roof, and you leave a little happier, a little fuller, and probably a little drunker. And honestly, that's a pretty good day out. If the Yarra Valley is Australia's answer to Burgundy, then Domaine Chandon is the French embassy. Founded in 1986 by Moet and Chandon, this place is less country winery and more palace to the bubbles. The French didn't just bring their name, they brought their swagger, their methods, and a reminder that Australians might make good wine, but no one does marketing like champagne royalty. The first thing you notice, the gardens. They're manicured to within an inch of their lives. Perfect hedges, rolling lawns, the kind of symmetry that screams somebody's been paid very well to make sure there's not a single weed in sight. It's elegant, it's pristine, and if you stumble in wearing sneakers and a t-shirt, you immediately feel like the underdressed cousin at a wedding. While you're here, you can sign up for the wine tasting sessions. Chandon has turned sipping sparkling wine into a performance art. You don't just get a pour, you get a lecture about méthode traditionnelle, the delicate balance of acidity and fruit, the artistry of bubbles.
One of the strictest laws is about the variety of grapes they can grow, which is only 7 grapes.
It's all very polished, very French, and after your second glass, you start to believe you actually do detect notes of brioche and subtle minerality. But here's the thing, the wine is genuinely excellent. Crisp, clean, refreshing, and dangerously easy to keep drinking. The terrace is a real payoff, a view of endless vines under a big Victorian sky. Glass in hand, Instagram influencers on either side of you taking 20 photos of their flute before daring to drink it. Chandon has become the kind of place where the wine is world class, but the show is just as much about looking the part. Even the cynic in you, rolling your eyes at the tourists lining up for selfies in the vineyard, has to admit, these people know what they are doing. Domaine Chandon is theatre, spectacle, and indulgence wrapped up in a flute of sparkling wine. Sure, it's a bit polished, a bit touristy, but it delivers. Come for the gardens, stay for the bubbles. And when the wine is this good, you stop rolling your eyes and enjoy the moment. Drive further out and you hit Healesville, Yarra Valley's unofficial capital. It has built a reputation for itself as an Epicurean hub that could tempt even the most disciplined of diets. Take the stroll along the storefronts and sample some of the fresh produce, or take a ride on the heritage trains operated by volunteers. Next up, we drive from Healesville to the Yarra Valley Chocolaterie. If Willy Wonka had a trust fund and a landscaping crew, you get the Yarra Valley Chocolaterie. This is a full-blown chocolate empire, planted in the middle of wine country like a sugar-coated middle finger to Pinot Noir. Inside is all about excess. Shiny machines whirring, chocolatiers in brown uniforms, looking like surgeons who swap scalpels for slabs of ganache. And the best part? Free samples. Bowls of chocolate buttons, milk, dark, white, just sitting there daring you to fistful your way into a sugar coma while staff pretend not to notice. It's also a good place to stop for a meal. The brekkie roll is their answer to the morning after wine tour hangover. Streaky bacon, egg, cheese, and hash brown. It's unapologetically greasy, exactly what you want before you start the day. And then there are the ice creams. These things are huge. Scoops the size of cricket balls stacked precariously like they're daring gravity to do its worst. By the time you finish one, you either need a nap or a defibrillator. After your sugar-filled snort, you can walk off the calories in the garden. Perfect lawns, flowers in military formation, hedges so neat they look like they're afraid of being fired. You walk up and think, okay, someone here has time, money, and an unhealthy obsession with symmetry. The Yarra Valley Chocolaterie is less cafe and more a sugar theme park. manicured gardens outside, chocolate excess inside, and enough free samples to put you in a sugar coma. It is a welcome change from all that vineyard lining the region. If Domaine Chandon is the flashy French cousin in tailored linen, then Yering Station is the older, heritage-rich uncle who's seen it all and still pours a damn good glass. Established in 1838, it's the granddaddy of Victorian winemaking, dripping with heritage and sophistication. This place isn't about Instagrammable bubbles. It's about history, pedigree, and drinking wine in a setting that feels like it was built to last longer than most marriages. The estate sprawls like it knows it's important. Stone buildings, white lawns, that old world gravitas that makes you half expect a colonial governor to wander by with a monocle and a bad attitude. Unlike Chandon's manicured perfection, Yering has texture, a little grit. You can feel the weight of the past here, and you respect it. Inside, the cellar door is less theatre, more museum meets drinking den. Tastings here are quieter, more considered. Yering Station wasn't just first, it was good. Their wines won awards in Paris when Australians were still pretending Vegemite was a cuisine.
Sometimes they are green, sometimes they are grey, sometimes they are pink, sometimes they are orange. But with white wine, we always take the skin off.
Yering Station is about standing on hallowed ground in Australian wine history and drinking the good stuff straight from the source. Coming here, you want substance over spectacle, when you rather sip with ghosts of the past than influences of the present.
Red grapes, the grapes are red grapes, so you get red berry flavours like raspberry, strawberry, cranberry, and then from the...
Also, there is a farmers market on the third Sunday of every month from 9 AM to 2 PM. The street food here are excellent. Finally, we end up at Bortoli, the family-owned giant with Italian roots and a serious love affair with cheese. Established in 1928, Bortoli has grown into one of the biggest names in Australian wine, but somehow it still feels welcoming and approachable at 240 hectares of vines. Tastings here are generous, the pours are friendly, and then they roll out the cheese. Bortoli doesn't just hand you wine. They pair it with a cheese spread so indulgent it makes you wonder if they are trying to sabotage your waistline. Their noble one is their signature label, a liquid gold dessert wine, which has probably ruined more diets than gelato. Their gardens are also inviting and the perfect place to finish off your cheese board with that remaining glass of wine, with the fields of grape wine spreading out as far as the eye can see. Bortoli is the kind of place where you can loosen your belt, eat too much cheese, and leave with a car boot full of bottles you swore you weren't going to buy. That's Yarra Valley in a nutshell. It isn't just wine country. It's history, gold rush scars, French champagne with floral views, and chocolate of every shape and colour. It's where Melbourneians go to play gold prospector for a weekend and then drink itself into bliss. It's a little fancy, a little rustic, and a lot of fun. I hope you enjoyed this guide, and if so, please do give it a like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.